Hello there. So let's discuss the Nigerian presidential election. Today, Nigerians went to the polls to elect their presidents and senators and House of Representatives. This particular election is really very important and one that will be watched very keenly by people outside Nigeria. And the reason behind that is because Nigeria is a very important country on the African continent and on the global scale. It's the largest country by population on the African continent. More than 220 million people live in Nigeria. It is the largest GDP economy on the continent. So that's why it is very significant. And this election is as unpredictable as it is significant. Because for the first time in decades, a third candidate has a credible chance of unseating those representing Nigeria's two dominant parties. The candidate in question is called Peter Obi. He's a 61-year-old businessman turned politician and whose dynamism and a promise of fresh breath of air has won much of the youth vote and a substantial lead in many polls. So Nigeria has been conducting these opinion polls and all of them show that Peter Obi is leading or is the favorite candidate. But what about the other candidates? One of them is Tinubu, Bola Tinubu from the All Progressive Congress Party. That is the party of the current president, Muhammadu Buhari. This party was founded in 2013 after three largest Nigerian opposition parties decided to merge and form the APC party. They went ahead to win the election in 2015 from another party called PDP. The candidate for the PDP party or the People's Democratic Party is Atiku Abubakar. And this PDP had been in power since 1999 to 2015. So it is a party that previously was in power. It was unsat or removed from power by this APC party, Muhammadu Buhari's party. So is it Peter Obi or is it Tinubu from the APC, the current ruling party? And before you answer the question, let's look or go back in time and see how Nigerians have previously voted. And as you know, the demography of Nigeria shows us that it is a country almost divided into two. The northern region is Muslim, the southern region is Christian. And previously, candidates would have running mates from either side. So if the president is a Muslim, his vice president would be a Christian and vice versa. This time around, two presidential candidates, one from PDP and the other one from APC, are Muslims. So that is not working this time around. The other thing is that Nigeria has recorded the largest ever turnout of voters in history. People who never used to care about elections have registered and acquired these voting cards and they are turning out to vote. And majority of those are youths. And these youths or the young people began being involved politically during, many Nigerians who are now backing Peter Obi grew politically during the 2020 protests against brutality from a branch of police known as the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. And you remember there was that hashtag that went on for almost a month, a nationwide end SARS protest. It went even beyond Nigerian borders. You remember that. And you know how the police responded. From orders from Buhari, the police responded ruthlessly. Instead of him listening to the young people, he sent the police. So 15 people, were killed. 15 young people were killed during those protests. So young people have never forgotten, and that's why they are not going to support the All Progressive Congress candidate, Tinubu. But the other thing you have to consider is that the All Progressive Congress candidate, Tinubu, has a lot of money, financing. And the PDP, the party that was in power before, also has a lot of networks from financing, which this tiny Labour Party that Mr. Peter Obi comes from doesn't have. And from what I've heard is that there's a lot of bribing that happens during the voting day in Nigeria. So if someone comes with a vehicle full of money in Nigeria, you know what happens. But other issues that have been debated is the economy, because the Nigerian economy has undergone 2 recessions in the last 5 years, and inflation in that country is, soaring at unbelievable rates, right? And more than 63% of people in Nigeria, that is more than 150 million people, or 140, they are living below $1 a day. They are classified as poor. And young people a lot of young people are either unemployed or underemployed. You have a job, but it doesn't pay you enough. So those are the issues. And despite Nigeria being among Africa's top oil exporter, so that anger has forced young people, who are about 71% of the country's population. The country has about 220 million people, so 71% of that are young people below the age of 20. And Nigeria has 87 million. This time around, they have registered 87 million voters. So we are talking about 60% of that being these young people. They are going to vote. And a lot of them want Peter Obi. They want change. And where I am, I also think they should try change, because Nigeria has been going through this cycle of uncertainty from the previous rulers, who are old and do not see the new world. So now, to answer the question, is it Peter Obi or is it Tinubu from the current ruling party? Which candidate do you think is going to win the Nigerian presidential elections?